Welcome back. It's been a while since I've done a video. I've been busy, very busy. I hope all of you are out there doing well, that you're healthy and safe. I tried to get a hold of Michael Knowles. He works at the Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh. He's a Catholic gentleman. I'm sure all of you have heard of him. And of course, I've had no response. Now, the reason that I tried to get a hold of him was the fact that in a lot of his YouTube videos, when he shows people doing stupid, ugly things, especially this fucked up woke culture bullshit, he always claims one thing: it's Satanism. And you know what? I'm tired of hearing it. So I tried to get a hold of him. And I told him, "You're a Catholic gentleman. I'm a Satanist. But I'm a type of Satanist you've probably never heard of. In fact, Satanism isn't even a good name for it. We're actually Gehennites, from the term Gehenna." Now, see, that will scare most people away. And I told him, "Look, if you really want to have truth, let's talk. Let's do an interview." And like I said, I've heard nothing from him. And I left a comment for him at the end of my proposal. And I said, "Now we'll see. We'll see if you really want truth or if you're like the rest of the media." And you know what? I'm coming to find out they're just like the rest of the media. They always claim that they want truth out there. But you know what? When it actually comes down to wanting truth, I don't think they do. They want to get their point across, and they want to get their version across. And like I said, I'm sick of hearing how this woke culture and all this is Satanism. Because I'll tell you what, you don't see Christianity doing a fucking thing to stop this bullshit. The Pope is, oh my God, Michael Knowles is Catholic. The Pope is allowing abortion. The Pope's allowing homosexuality. The Pope's allowing all of it. Because, as the Pope says, well, the church has to grow. And it has to be, modern with the times. I mean, my God, the UN just came out in April telling the world that pedophilia should be legalized, as I have said for the last couple of years. Anyone who has been listening to me that long knows that I've put that in my videos, that it would not be long and pedophilia would be legalized. And now the UN is saying that's exactly what should happen. But back to the subject. Satanism. Michael Knowles. See, he goes with the definition that the Catholic Church gives. And yet his own fucking church is going against their own fucking Bible and their own fucking teachings. Have been for years. Even when they stuck with their teachings, they were one of the most evil fucking organizations on this earth. Murdered millions in the name of God. And see, this is what I mean. The fucking media, they don't give a shit about truth. They show you and they tell you what they want you to know. See, this is why Tucker Carlson was fired. He pushed the issue too far, and they didn't like it. He told the truth, and they didn't like it. I mean, when you look at Fox News, they say that they're the only news organization out there giving the conservative view, giving the truth. You know, the flag, the American way, hot dogs, apple pie, all this bullshit. And you watch the women on Fox, they're all wearing tight dresses, and I mean tight fucking dresses. They're all showing their boobs, but almost all of them got that little fucking gold or silver cross around their neck to show that they're Christian. Really? Since when are Christian women supposed to show their boobs and wear tight fucking dresses the way they do? And oh my God, they got to show their legs. Why? Because, well, they want male viewers. That's why. These fucking places do not want truth. Now, see, I've known, all these supposed media outlets, when they've talked about Satanism, they've either talked about LaVey and the Church of Satan, or they've talked about the Temple of Satan. Now, see, we're not connected with either of them, and I wouldn't want to be. Now, don't get me wrong, I respect LaVey. I truly do. I respect him. He was honest about who he was, what he believed, and what they did. They bothered no one, and they didn't want to be bothered. Now, as far as the Temple of Satan, they are who they are. I have no problem with them. Now, I don't agree with them. I believe they're more for shock value than anything else. And they say they have nothing to do with LaVeyan Satanism. And their holy book about renegade angels is their belief system, not the Satanic Bible. But you know what? In a lot of ways, they're very much like LaVey Satanism. They're atheists. And that's what the Church of Satan claims, is that they're atheist as well. So here I am trying to get a hold of Michael Knowles because I want to tell him what true Satanism is. Now, when you look in the Bible, my dear viewers, and you see this entity, this being known as Satan, do you see Satan ever doing anything against God? Especially Old Testament. Satan does what Satan's told to do by Jehovah. Excuse me. Satan works for Jehovah. He has access to heaven. He has access to God's throne. It isn't until the New Testament that Satan becomes this enemy of God, of which I don't believe. So when you look at this being Satan, who works for Jehovah, then if you worship or work with this being, are you still not in line, hook, line, and sinker with Jehovah? I mean, seriously. If you are working with Satan, the Satan from the Bible, you are working with Jehovah because he works for Jehovah. So to me, that makes no sense to be that type of Satanist. Because every Satanist will tell you they hate the biblical God. Well, guess what? Satan never went against the biblical God. He worked for him. So this type of Satanism is fucked from the beginning. How can you hate the biblical God and yet love the one who works for him, who does his will? Now, see, if you look at the Islamic form of Satanism, it's a little bit different. In the Islamic form of Satanism, Iblis, some say he was an angel, some say he was a jinn. I really don't care. But Iblis worshipped Allah. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Now, of course, you're going to hear the same thing from Muslims, that Iblis is evil. He is the ultimate shaitan, and he has other shaitans working with him, which are demons and jinn. And he is to be avoided because even in the Quran, as well as your prayers, you hear the words Abdullah, you hear Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Praise be Allah. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, which is a prayer to be protected from Iblis, from shaitan. So the outer form of Islam is pretty much the same as Christianity, as far as their Satan stuff. But when you look at the esoteric teachings of Islam, it's not that way. Iblis, who worshipped Allah, loved Allah. And when you read the writings of Al-Hallaj, you see there's something different. Allah told all the angels to bow before his creation known as Adam, which is not a single person. It was mankind as a whole. And the angels bowed, all but Iblis. And when Allah asked Iblis, why did you not bow? Iblis told Allah straight out, I'm better. I'm better than Adam. He's made from clay, I'm made from fire. So we're led to believe that, once again, pride made the devil fall. That's not the case. In the esoteric sense, Iblis explains it. When Moses spoke with him, Moses told him, you broke a command. And Iblis said, I didn't break a command. I passed the test. And I want you people to think about this. Because, see, this is where our form of Satanism comes from as Gehennites. The Islamic Iblis refuse to bow to anyone but Allah. Now, all through the Quran, you see Allah telling everyone, man and jinn, you bow to no one but me. I am the one you bow to. I am the one that you show reverence to. So if you really look at it, all the angels who bowed violated the commandment of Allah, which was given before man was created. All the angels failed. They failed the test. They broke the commandment. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. I testify there is no God, only Allah. That is the commandment. That shows there is no one on this earth, in this universe, that we are to bow to but Allah. It's exactly what it shows. So the one that everyone calls Shaitan passed the test. He refused to bow to anyone but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now I'm telling you, most Muslims will look and say, no, this is wrong. Is it? When you look at the esoteric teachings of Islam, it's not wrong. It's the angels who failed. It's mankind who failed. See, we have no problem with God. We have a problem with Jehovah because Jehovah is not God. Isn't it funny? In the Aramaic language, which Yeshua spoke, he called God Allah. Sometimes he referred to God as Allah Allahun. In the Hebrew, it's Eloah, which translates into Allah. Plain and simple. And the name that God gave to Moses was Ahiyeh. It wasn't Jehovah. It was Ahiyeh. How come Jehovah is so much different? How come Yeshua didn't call him that? Even in the New Testament, when he was crucified, the supposed gospel writers, whom no one really truly knows who wrote these gospels, has Jesus calling on El. Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? So you have Moses questioning Shaitan, and Satan tells him, I didn't violate a commandment. I passed a test. And throughout the whole conversation, you see how much love and reverence Shaitan has for Allah. He would never think of violating it. We violated it. The angels violated it. Shaitan was the only one who knew to keep the commandment. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Shaitan knew he would be put in the position that he was put into. Because Allah told Shaitan, because of your jealous love for me, I'm going to put you at the gate. Keep all those away from me who do not belong to me. See, Shaitan will purify you. He will put hellfire right in you before you die. He will purify you of every impurity. The Islamic Shaitan will purify you in the fire 7 times, just like Yeshua said. Just as gold is purified in the fire 7 times, so shall he be. Sheikh Azadin has told us, if you have hellfire already in you, what is there to fear? See, on one hand, you have this fake God who's not actually a God, he's an angel. He's a watcher, which makes him a dragon, because the watchers are also known as dragons. Trust me, that'll be for another video. So you have this supposed God, this usurper known as Jehovah, who's created a false heaven. And then you have Allah, the true Allah, which no man has heard or seen at any time. And Shaitan will purify you. If you go before Shaitan and you are impure, you will never see Allah. You will never enter the garden. Now, let me repeat that. You will never enter the garden until you're sufficiently purified. And it is Shaitan who will purify you. Now, does Shaitan tempt you? Of course. Shaitan will whisper in your ear to do something, or to think something, or to say something that you shouldn't do. And the more you resist that, the happier Shaitan is. Now, see, in the New Testament it says, resist the devil and he'll flee from you, as if he's scared. Yeah, I don't think so. And it's not that he flees from you. The stronger you get, the more he looks and says, okay, why? Why tempt him on this anymore? And he'll hit something else in you. Shaitan is the guardian of the throne of the Creator himself. See, once again, the Christians hear Jesus. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. I'm sorry to say, no one's going to come to God but by Shaitan. See, my sheikh told me straight when I was learning. Told me straight to my face. Never do what Shaitan tells you, but always do what Shaitan does. And I've come to learn what that means. Shaitan does exactly what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants him to do. So should we. And see, this is why I wanted to talk with Michael Knowles. Because he claims everything out there, woke culture, everything is Shaitan. And you know what? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. See, we blame Shaitan for everything. Because we, as human beings, don't want to accept the responsibility that we fuck up. Mankind is doing this to mankind. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, there are entities out there who hate us. They're known as Shadim. And Shadim doesn't always mean demons. But it is mankind who has sold out mankind. It's not Shaitan. Shaitan could be the best friend you've ever had if you understand. If you understand. Now, see, Christians, they love to hit the fact that the Quran says that Allah, in speaking of himself, says he is one of the best of deceivers. And yes, the Quran does say that. Because when Allah says this, he's speaking of men who deceive. And Allah says, they think they're going to deceive me? No. I'm one of the best of deceivers. I'll deceive them. And the Christians are like, see, Allah is the evil one. What a blasphemy. Their own Bible has the facts laid out for them that Jehovah himself says, I will send lying spirits into the prophets. The prophets of the Old Testament tell you that if a city is under destruction, was it not Jehovah who did this? The Bible clearly lays out that Jehovah is evil. Nowhere in the Quran does Allah accept human sacrifice. Nowhere. But it's all throughout the Bible, including the New Testament. According to Christians, Jesus Christ, the Son of God himself, had to fucking die. And Christians love this shit. Because once again, they don't have to take responsibility for what they've done. All they have to do is say, well, okay, I've sinned. Please forgive me, and I accept you as Lord and Savior. And that's it. They don't have to do shit. How fucking evil are Christians? Well, I'm going to let someone pay for my mistake. But I guarantee you, let the police and the court system arrest Joe Schmo knowing that it was Johnny Dumbass who robbed the bank. And let the courts tell Joe Schmo, look, Johnny Dumbass robbed the bank, but we're going to send you to prison for it. Oh my God. Joe Schmo would be like, are you fucking crazy? I didn't commit that. I didn't fucking rob the bank. And you know this? But yet a Christian very much enjoys the fact that apparently, according to their teachings, the Son of God himself had to fucking die in one of the most cruel fucking ways to pay for their sin. Human sacrifice. Nowhere in the Quran is it accepted. Nowhere. In the Bible, women are shit. They're property. In the Quran, women are to be educated. Women are the backbone of the family. Women have rights of divorce and education and everything else. What you see in Islam today is not Islam of the Quran, it is the Islam of culture. Plain and simple. That's all you see is culture mixed in with Islam. See, our form of Satanism is very much different. We can worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and yet work with the shaitan. We understand the teachings. And I told you, most Muslims will be offended. And they'll say, no, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. But you know what? Even the Quran says it straight. If you follow the majority, they will draw you away from Allah. And yet the majority of Muslims will tell you, no, no, can't work with the police, can't work with him. And the majority will draw you away from Allah. And see, I wanted to get this information out there. I want people to know that there is a darker form of spirituality that loves God, the true God, and yet can work with these beings. See, these beings will show you the evil inside of you. These beings will shine a light into the darkest recesses of your mind, your heart, your desires, so that you can deal with them. These white light religion followers, these white lighters, are full of shit. Is there not a day and a night? Light and dark? Is there not a right and left hand of God? We are the left hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We stand at the left hand of Allah, not the right hand. The right hand is the majority, and they will lead you astray. They will lead you astray. Our sheikhs know the full story. Now, see, you might be looking, going, well, I thought you were Buddhist. See, our teachings encompass everything because when you get to the esoterics, everything is connected. Everything is. Everything has an esoteric teaching, Buddhism included. The darkest aspects of Vajrayana Buddhism deal with the black sun. But see, no one wants to hear that because, well, no, you got to go to the light. The light will burn you. Plain and simple. See, this is why the saying's out there that true evil is as bright as the noontime sun. True evil. It's not dark, it's bright. Because it looks pretty, it looks beautiful, it looks shiny. And at the same time, it burns you because at high noon, the sun is at its hottest. And it will burn the shit out of you. Whereas the dark, it's cool as far as temperature. It's relaxing. You can rest. You can sleep. Most people who sleep during the day find that they're not as well rested. It's quiet at night. You can study, you can contemplate. Where does the fetus grow? In the darkness of the womb. Where does the seed grow? But in the darkness of the earth. See, this is the way it is, people. I'm giving you 100% truth. And it's a truth the world doesn't want. People follow their pastors and priests and their imams and their masters and whatever else you want to call their teachers. And they're leading them astray. They're tickling their ears so they can get paid money. And yet we tell you the truth and we get nothing. That's fine. Our reward comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't need man's reward. It says, Allah has stated, if the whole world should come out to bless you, they can only bless you with what Allah has already prescribed. If the whole world shall come out to curse you, they can only curse you with what Allah has already decreed. See, do we really trust in God? Do we? I don't think we do. Human beings sell themselves for the most miserable of all prices every day of their lives. We allow crime. We allow this woke culture under the form of, well, we have to have equity and equality. And it's bullshit. We allow everything that's going on, but yet we are the first ones to look to God and say, why? Why is this happening? Why are you allowing this? We're the first ones to blame the Almighty. See, in our form of Satanism, we definitely believe in justice, not necessarily law. Man's law is so fucked up, it's pathetic. If you're rich, you can get away with murder. If you're poor, you can be blamed for anything and go to prison. And I am so sick of hearing the fucking divide of the races. Well, I'm black, so we're more important than you. Well, I'm white, we're more important than you. No, we're Asian. No, we're this. We're polka dot. We're all fucking human. And no one wants to see. Everyone wants to play the martyr. Well, my race is being treated worse than your race. It's a divide tactic used by the elite. And it works very well. And you want to know why? Because this is the way people are. People love suffering. They truly do. If they didn't, they'd get up off their ass and fucking find out how to stop suffering. People love to suffer. They love to complain about their lives. Oh, our lives, woe is us. We blame God, we blame the devil, we blame the fucking trees if we could. It's not our fault. I mean, do you realize that the Federal Reserve Bank has rolled out their digital currency? Have you been aware of this? Europe has rolled out theirs. In Europe, they've made it law that if you spend over $1,000 in cash of your own fucking money you've worked for, money you've saved, if you spend over $1,000 in cash, they can fine you and or put you in jail. And I think in other countries like France or something, it's a little bit higher. You have to start paying in digital currency. Here it comes, people. Total control is coming. Total control is coming. I'm telling you now, it's time to put hellfire into you. It's time to purify yourself. It's time to become strong. And I'll tell you what, it's time to pick up a sword in the name of Allah. No, am I promoting violence? No, I am not. When I say pick up a sword from Allah, the sword represents the spirit. But I'll tell you what, you better be ready to fight when that day does come. I would rather die on my feet than I would to serve on my knees. I will not serve mankind. Not in this way. I will not bow to them. I will not bow to the fucking governments. I will not bow to the religions. There is one God whose name, as far as we know, because he has a secret name, and that God is named Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the one that we drop our knees for. Allah is the one that we put our head on the ground for. Not man, not Democrat, not fucking Republicans, not liberalists, or any other fucking party out there. We do not bow to Greta Thunberg or whatever the fuck her name is. We don't bow to the economists, the bankers, the lawyers, or any other institution. We bow to Allah. And we work with Iblis, Shaitan. We do not worship Shaitan. And we are Gehennites because of the fact that we have hellfire in us, the black flame that purifies us. This is who we are in the Black Sunnites. This is who we are. We're not afraid of the darkness. The darkness is where you see the true light. The darkness is where you find peace. So I'll tell you what, help me out, people. My brothers, my sisters, help me out. Contact the Daily Wire. Get a hold of Michael Knowles and tell him there's someone here that wants to be interviewed, that wants to talk to you. Put it on the air. He's so big about talking about how all this is satanic, and he has no fucking clue what true Satanism is. And I don't even like using the term Satanism, because every time I do, people think of LaVey or the Temple of Satan or one of these other organizations. We're Gehennites. We're Black Sunnites. It's time the truth is known. Because I'll tell you what, isn't it funny how I'm supposed to be so evil, and yet not one Christian in all these years has defeated me when it's come to the Bible. Pastors and missionaries have all threatened, oh, we'll debate you anytime you want. And then I make them a video about their religion and I never hear from them again. Because I want them to see what they're in for when we debate. So do me a favor. Drop a line to the Daily Wire. Let them know. Why isn't Michael Knowles? Now, let me declare this first, though. Maybe Michael Knowles hasn't read the comment on his videos where I'm trying to get a hold of him. And if he hasn't, then I give him that pass. But then again, why is he not checking the comments on his videos? Why are his producers not checking the comments on his videos? But if he has, let him know. Why is it you're so scared to talk to this guy? Why? You don't mind sitting there talking to a priest from the Catholic Church about exorcisms and demons and all this shit. You don't mind blaming all this stuff on Shaitan. So why won't you talk to him? Because I'll tell you what, no Christian wants to interview me. I haven't found one yet. So help me out, people. Because I'll tell you what, I'm not going to steer you the wrong way. Plain and simple. Well, with that, I think I will end it there. May you all be blessed. Help. Excuse me, my tongue is tied this morning. May you all be blessed and healthy and happy. Until next time.